Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we are doing my monthly budget for 2021. I also did one of these videos last year in January and I figured I would just make it a tradition. So we have my budget for 2020 open and we're just gonna do the adjustments that needs to be done to make this budget right for this year as well. I have a screen recording of my screen and I'm gonna share that with you, and I'm gonna just put myself up in the corner. So when we start on my budget here, we have income as the first part, obviously. So there are a couple of changes, as this year I have started my own company, which means that Upwork and YouTube are both part of my company now, not part of my personal income like it was last year. So both of these, I am just going to remove them. If you want a separate video for like business type stuff, let me know and I will let that be a separate video. And then the amount that you can see here is a little bit lower than it is this year. So I'm gonna set it up a little bit. And that amount is after taxes and after my union membership fee. So my like actual income is higher, but taxes isn't relevant for this part, so I'm just not going to include that. And then on the expenses side, my boyfriend and I still do basically what we did last year. So we own our apartment together and we just put money into a shared account every month, and then that is where all of our other expenses come from, which includes our mortgage, electricity, groceries, phone, and apartment costs. So I just went through before I started and I just wrote down what all of those costs are as an estimate. So things like electricity vary per month, but mortgage, phone bill, and apartment costs is the same every single month. And then groceries and electricity go a little bit up and down. For our mortgage, that is a little bit lower than last year because the interest has gone down because of Corona, so it is now at 7,669. And then as I update these, the US is going to be on the other side here. And then for our electricity, it varies a little bit month to month. On average, it's probably about 350. Groceries is about 5,130, and our phone bills is about 400 in total. And apartment costs is about 3,451 Norwegian kroner. So this is all of our shared expenses, and the 8,500 is just my part of that share, and then this is the total for both of us. So we each put in 8,500 every month. And then for my subscriptions, there are also some changes. Last year I had both Adobe Photoshop and Premiere on here. Those are both business expenses now because that is what I do to edit my YouTube videos and stuff like that. And then we don't have HBO anymore. So I'm just going to delete all of those three lines as they are no longer relevant. And then we have gas and insurance. This was at 2,500 last year. But because of Corona, I don't drive very much anymore because I'm still working from home. I've been working from home since March 20th last year, and because of that, my gas and stuff has been a little bit lower. Last year, I also think I just did gas, so 2,500 was my gas for every month. This year, I have decided to include car insurance because that is also a big part of the costs of owning a car, and I decided to put that at 1,300. So 500 of that is insurance every single month. And then the others, like 800, is for gas. If home office ends, that is just going to be set up a little bit more. My travel insurance, however, has actually decreased because my travel insurance is now 86 kroner per month. And then we have my savings. Last year I had a top loan on our apartment because we have to put 15% down when you buy an apartment or a house in Norway. And I didn't have all of that, so I had a loan for 100,000, which is about $10,000. And I paid that off in June last year, so I have upped my savings into a high yield savings account. at 8,000 Norwegian kroner every month. It is high yield, but it's not very high yield anymore because of Corona. So this year it started at 2.3% and now it's at 1.2%. But what you gotta do. And then the next on here is IPS, which is a Norwegian savings or for retirement. So I have 500 that go into that account every single month. And then the last one is ASK. Once I fill my savings up and we buy a new house, which is one of our goals for this year, I'm not gonna have to have that much money in my actual like savings account anymore, that easily accessible, and I will start to put some or more of that 8,000 into stocks and funds instead. I don't know if funds is the right word for what I'm looking for, but it's like index funds. I think that is the right thing. So I don't have stocks yet. I only have the index funds and I'm fine with that. But what I do have is like a micro save function on my card. So every time I use my card, 10 kroner, which is like a little bit more than a US dollar, goes into that account. And it has to be 300 to actually go into that account. I started that in October and it's so in November. And both in December, like December 1st and January 1st, the 300 was transferred over so that I know for sure that is probably going to be the minimum of the amount that I use my card. That, however, is just for my personal debit card. My credit card and my business card and our shared card for like groceries and stuff is not going to be part of that because obviously this is my personal thing. And then the union is deducted before I actually get my paycheck because that goes automatically through the payroll at work. So I'm just gonna let that sit at 0. So with that, I have 24,150 Norwegian kroner in, and I have 19,245 going out every month, including my savings, and that means I have almost 5,000 left to do like what I want, basically. So for my spending, that is typically like clothes, maybe some tech things, if I buy some makeup, or if I go to the movies, anything like that is like part of this like leftover part of my budget. So I feel like leftovers is kind of like a weird way to phrase it, but it's the best that I can come up with because this is like what I can do what I want with. I don't have to use any of this. If I wanted to, if I needed to, I could save all of that amount and I would be fine. Because all of my housing, my car, groceries, phone, all of that stuff is already in this top part right here. Like these are my necessities on this like top here. And then this bottom one is just whatever I want, basically. So for me, I save about 8,800 every single month. For my paycheck, that equals out to about 36% of my paycheck, which is fairly high, I would say, especially for someone like my age, I guess. But we were really lucky. We bought our apartment when we were really young. We were both like 23 and 24. We bought our apartment like 3 years ago in March of 2018, and we moved in June. So yeah, as of right now, I'm 26. I'm gonna turn 27 on January 29th, which is 4 weeks away, 4.5, 3.5, probably like 3.5. So yeah. Also, I think actually Netflix increased a little bit, so I think it's like 119. And then to be completely fair, my gym membership is $449 and not $450. So yeah. Those are the expenses and income that I have in my budget. I usually do spend the leftovers, although I don't really know what I'm spending it on. But I know for sure this past few months it's been like Christmas gifts in November, December. I bought a new vlog camera and I just picked up the Samsung Buds Live this morning, today. And that is obviously more like expensive things when you buy tech. So yeah. like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want me to do a more like business related type of video like this, where I share like what my monthly expenses are for my business and my income and all of that stuff, and although that varies because it is freelance based and YouTube like never pays the same every month, but I could do a video like that if you would like to see it. And I can also do another video about buying a house when that time comes. I did like a bigger type of moving vlog and like buying an apartment video when we bought this place, so that is like 3 years old. If you want to go dig in the archives, you can. But I'm just gonna leave this for now, and if anything like major happens in our life that will significantly affect my budget, then I will let you know. So if we buy a house, maybe I'll do an updated one, because things like apartment costs, which is like things in the building, it includes like cutting the grass and snow and garbage collecting and all of that type of stuff, which are things that we don't have to think about. And for us, it's also heating, although that obviously differs from apartment to apartment. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give this video a like. You can subscribe down below if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!